All right, guys. Today's the last day of the semester. It's been a long semester. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and ready for much needed break, Christmas break. Um, as this is the last class, usually what we do is I want to see if we have anybody has any questions because I've completed every curriculum I had planned for this class. For the advanced group, we had one last section to be left, so I finished it today. For the regular class, your group, I'm done with all the stuff. So I was just wondering if you guys have any questions for me, anything.
So I'm taking the ACT on December 12th, and I'm taking the writing portion as well because it's my second time taking it. Could you just briefly go over that again? I know you talked about it like 2 weeks ago, but
Okay, so the main thing to remember, Grace, is split the 40 minutes into 10, 20, and 10. For the first 10 minutes, you really need to think about how to structure the perspective without looking at it, of course, as I talked to you guys many times. So read the prompt a couple times, 3 times, understand what it means. Then decide, okay, what side do I pick basically? For, against, or neutral. And then match with the perspective. And if the perspective is matching, as I mentioned, it's perfect. Then take the first 10 minutes to jot down some ideas. Okay, how are you going to build it in the non-gradable section? After 10 minutes, you need to start writing down in 5 paragraphs within 1 to 2 pages total with good handwriting, no BSing, and grammar and sentence formations are so important. And have a nice storyline or a flow. And after the last 10 minutes is to read through it and check for any errors in grammar and stuff like that. And I strongly recommend writing in pencil so you can erase it. But main thing to understand is do not look at the perspective till you have decided your own perspective. Grace, does that make sense?
yeah, thank you.
How many paragraphs did you say it is?
5 paragraphs,
So
1 to 2 pages.
so it should be like an introduction and then like 3 body.
Yes, introduction, body, body, and then and yeah. The first
Okay,
and last
and
are
then
so important. Of course, are very very important.
on the science,
Porter, hold on. One thing before I forget. You have to talk about at least one more perspective, Grace, without uh, being negative about that. You got to talk about one more perspective. Go ahead, Porter.
for the science.
You're on mute.
Oh, okay. For the science, so like I was the last time I took the test, I've kind of felt like I was like kind of wasting time going through at the beginning, like looking for like the which one to do first. So like I was kind of confused. Do we like look to like find the exact order, or like just the first two and then you?
The first two, and remember, you cannot take 2 3 minutes for that. You got to take less than 45 seconds. You really are
Yeah.
flipping the pages and deciding, okay, I'm going to do now 3 4 or 3 2.
Okay.
That's
Just
it.
the
And
first
then go to
two.
those 2 passages, do those, and then repeat the process. Then I'm going to pick, let's say,
Okay.
1 5.
Okay.
Then take the next, after those two are done, then do the same thing. I'm going to do one, let's say, 4 6 or 6 4. But the order is so important because you do not want to waste a time on a difficult one.
Okay. And then could you possibly like go over some proportion problems,
Proportion problems.
like for math?
Like, give me an example. I can build on that one.
I don't really have like an example. I just know that those are kind of tough. I didn't know if you had any problems.
Proportions. Are you talking about solving proportions Are we? Are you?
Like a word problem where you have to use proportions to solve.
Okay. Let me think about it. Okay.
Okay.
If I don't find anything good, I'll text some problems in the group later, and you can do those. If you have any questions, text me directly after that. That's good. That's exactly what I want to hear from you guys today.
Manoj, I have a quick question. So when I was taking the practice ACTs, like all the ones that are online, I'm improving on all of them, but except my reading part, because I can't figure out, like, I'm wasting too much time trying to figure out, like, what to read and then kind of get confused if I should read the passage or read the questions. Could you explain what I can do to improve my score
Okay.
for
Good.
that? Because all the rest I did figure it out.
Okay. Good question, Om. Let me tell you what has happened. I see a 50-50 split in this. Let me talk about my own experience. I recommend directly going to the questions. Here's my logic. If I read the passage, which is going to take me 2-3 minutes to read, and then get to the question, ask yourself, would I know the answer without going back to the passage? No, I have to go back to the passage again. Let's say I come across a question like, what is the what message is this passage trying to tell, which I have no clue. I'm going to skip that. But going to the question is very, very important. Scanning, and that's why they give the line numbers, by the way, if you have noticed it. So, and many times they tell you where the answer is. They say in line 134, what is the meaning of this word? So you go to that particular line, read above that a little bit, read below that a little bit, and you'll get the answer right there. But rereading the passage multiple times, you're going to drain the time. And next thing, one more thing is, how many practice tests have you done is also important. You have to do a lot of practice tests on reading so that you become good at it and you can control the time.
Yeah, I took like 4.
That's not bad. We usually our average is 5, so that's not bad.
Okay. And then I took the one that was, I think, this week. It's homework. I don't remember.
Some of my best students like Liz and Maddie, Alexa, they have done 13, 14 tests. So it's all about preparation so that you have a muscle memory. You know exactly what to look for. Another question I want to talk to you guys about reading. Reading has 4 passages: fiction, humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences. Have you decided what order you want to do the passages? So, for example, I would do natural science, social science, humanities, fiction. This is my order, and that's exactly how I would go in the real test. I would directly go to the last passage, which is natural science. Start with that one, and that's how I practiced, and that's what you have to practice as well. What you are going to do in the real test is exactly what you have to practice. Anything different, you'll be in for a surprise.
Okay. I think I got it.
So what you were saying with like the just go straight to the questions.
So in
Like,
reading,
once you get-
in reading,
What's
let's say there are 160 lines. I'm not going to read 160 lines and waste my time. I'm going to
So
directly
what
go to
you
question number 1.
okay? So should you start on one or like look for the ones where it says like in line?
No, not only that. So let's say in question number 1, it says, what is the author trying to tell you? Which I have no idea. I'm going to skip that, go to question number 2.
Okay, and then go back to it.
Yeah. And here's one more thing I want to tell you, which is important. I'm glad you guys are asking this. Really. Okay. This is a reading test, okay? Look at how much reading I have to do otherwise. What I always did is always answered directly on the test. After the passage was done, then I went and bubbled in. Because I didn't want to be distracted going back and forth, back and forth. I did the same thing for English, reading, and science. And for math, I did bubbling after every 10 questions.
So you'd circle it and then bubble.
Yeah, I would circle. I'll go boom, 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 done. Then before I go to the next passage, I will bubble in. One thing you have to be careful for the last passage, when you're running out of time, you directly want to bubble in because you may not be left with the time.
Okay.
All these things require practice. Again, I'm going to repeat this. What you will do in the real test is what exactly you have to prepare. Anything other than that, it will be a shock.
Is it best to like do the questions in chronological order, like look for the
What do you mean?
like start at one? I know what you're saying about like skip one if it's like this the passage one, but should we like look for the easy one where it's like line 36 this word means, or should we like just
I would read every question and you'll know what to skip.
okay? And then once like it's like a passage one, just go back and skim quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually, you'll have to skim the passage, but you'll have learned so much about the passage by doing all those questions, then you know where to skim for
Okay.
and what to skim for. The main thing is if they say line 27 is line 27, you cannot just read line 27. You have to read above that line and below. You got to do that.
Right.
Good questions. So writing is covered, reading is covered, science is covered. Any other questions you have? Because as I said, I'm done with all the curriculum, what I've planned. Today is the last day. I'm going to answer as many questions you may have. And also between now and December 12th, if you come across a question, something like a proportion, what Porter was asking, and you're not sure, just take a picture and send it to me. It's in your hands to contact us. You'll be surprised how fast we can respond to. Especially during this time, we try to respond in less than 24 hours.
I was wondering, so if I'm taking any other test or anything else, if I don't understand a question, if I take a picture and put it on the GroupMe app, could you still help us after December 12th?
Of course, I would not put in the GroupMe app, just text me directly.
Okay, all right.
We don't want to bother the group, parents and students after that.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you're my student. You're New Horizon student. It's our job to take care of you guys. Whether it's you're during the class or after the class, doesn't matter. How many of you might be interested in the advanced class in spring?
I signed up for that. What date does that start again? Because I already got my books.
Yeah, it starts on January 10th.
January
10th.
10th. Okay.
Anybody else who might be interested? If you are interested, make sure to get hold of me, especially students who are looking to get more than 28. You need to have that class, okay? All right, any other questions? Okay, now I have some questions for you guys, and I just want you to be honest. You don't have to sugarcoat. How do you rate this class? This ACT prep for the last 15 weeks you had. How do you rate it? Let's go to make it easy. On a 1 to 10 scale, 10 is the best, 1 is the worst. How do you rate it? Be honest, okay? You don't have to sugarcoat.
I'd rate it like an 8. I really enjoyed the class and I thought that it was really helpful in preparation for the ACT because, like, quite honestly, I had like nothing, like I didn't know what to expect. Like I had no clue what I was doing. So this class was definitely helpful. The only reason I rated an 8 instead of like a 9 or a 10 is because like I felt a little bit overwhelmed by the homework, but like, I mean, it was still a really helpful class. So
should I reduce the homework, Grace?
I mean, I I think it's just like for me in general, just because junior year I'm pretty busy,
Yes.
but I think it was a good amount for like a regular student. So
How do you, including me, by the way, do you think our instructors are good?
yes, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're honest. Then that's exactly what I want to hear from you guys. Anybody else?
I'd agree. I don't know, like all the practice tests that we do in class, I think, are like the most helpful, like in preparing because they're like exactly like the test. Like rather than going through those PowerPoints we did at the beginning, which like I get it's good for like introduction, but like running through these questions and like actually like you guys explaining is just like really helpful. And I mean, I think the homework's like a good resource to have. But like Grace said, it's kind of hard like during junior year with like all the work. But I think like you assigning homework is like necessary because it gives us like options. It gives us options.
So, Porter and Grace, do you think we should make the homework optional? My worry is, I'm also the college president. I know one thing: when things are optional, people don't do it at all, and it hurts the bottom line. People are not realizing how much actually you're learning, but you may not be realizing right now. But in the real test, you'll start seeing that effect. Oh my God, I did this in the homework. Now I can get this right in the real test. So, what do you think?
I mean, I think mandatory is fine because like if someone doesn't want to do it now, I mean like it's pretty much optional. Like it's pretty much optional already, but you kind of just have to hold yourself accountable.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, I think if you made it optional, like people just, like you said, like they just wouldn't do it and they just wouldn't put any effort in. And I think making it mandatory, like for me, that gives me a little bit of motivation
Yep.
to like want to get it done. So I think making it optional wouldn't be
So,
a good idea.
Grace, let me ask you this. Again, I need an honest answer. Would you get pissed off when you don't do the homework?
I mean, a little bit. Like I like to get things done and like, this is a little bit weird, but like crossing things off the list is just like so satisfying to me. So like if I
Me
don't
too,
get it
me
done,
too.
like yeah. So if I don't get it done, like it would just like it would make me a little bit mad. So
Okay. I'm glad you guys are being honest. Okay. Anybody else want to rate 1 to 10?
I'd rate the
Your
7.
classes.
Okay. Yeah, I'd rate. Oh, sorry. You want to go?
Nah, go ahead.
Alright, okay. So I kind of rated a 7, kind of just because I don't really like sitting for like 2 hours straight. I don't know if it's just me, to be honest. So I just rated a 7, but the homework was kind of overwhelming because I have like other homework from my AP class and everything. But homework kind of helps too at the same time. That's why I kind of gave it a 7.
Fair enough. Do you think our instructors are good?
Yeah, they're really good. I like when they go through like test questions and then they answer. Like if you're stuck and confused, they like explain it to us. So that's like I like it more. If that makes sense.
So how is my class?
It's pretty good.
Okay. Good. Any other questions? Any other comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you know if you have to take the written test or not?
Olivia, I would highly recommend to take it whether you need it or not right now, because eventually it depends on which college you apply. Some schools make it as a requirement, and then it will be too late not to have it. So if you're taking the ACT for the second time or afterwards, you got to take the writings test. You got to. Just be done with it.
Would you say to take it even if the college doesn't require it?
Yes, to be honest, because it's so safe to have a good writing score. Safe. It's worth it. Even though some schools may not need it, it's just better to have it. Then you don't have to worry if they change their plans for next year, for example.
Manoj,
Yes.
for the writing, is it like pretty much always like the topic is like you don't really have to have too much prior knowledge. It's
No,
kind of just like
you don't need to have any prior knowledge. No,
okay,
you always,
like it's pretty obvious.
yeah, it's all about how do you approach it and how do you write it. Grammar, sentence formation, and whether can you create enough suspense for the reader to read the whole thing.
Okay,
Writing is a skill. Not everybody gets it. And more you practice, better you get it. I'm so glad, by the way, you guys are asking these questions. This is one of the most, I would say this is the best group I had in terms of asking questions. It's just makes our lives so much better. Any other comments, thoughts before we say goodbye to you guys? I want to know anything. Again, as I mentioned before, if there is any questions you have during the class, during the next 2 weeks or after that, remember, you are my student. You are our student, New Horizon students. We are here for you guys. So please make sure to contact us and don't hesitate. The only thing is do not put it in the group me, just text me directly.
Okay.
I'd say another thing that I thought like we should let you know is that like I thought it was like really helpful how you and like the instructors, like I guess since you're in charge, you probably like made sure that they hold the same like standard of like encouraging questions and like I'm like the other instructors, they always like tell everyone to ask questions and stuff, and like some teachers I guess don't really encourage it as much because they're like lazy, I guess, but I don't know, it's just really helpful how you guys like encouraged it.
No,
so.
Porter, like for example, spring starts on January 10th, but next week we're meeting with the instructors and we go through the whole plan. The only thing was due to COVID and Alexa got tested positive, and it just something we had no control on. But I'm personally, to be honest, I don't know how others feel about it. I'm proud of how New Horizon has handled this semester. With all the pressure I had, my wife tested positive this year, this September. With all the stuff I went through personally, I'm just proud that we did a fantastic class. I really thought we covered more material in this class than ever before. So again, everybody has their own view of things and feedback, and I respect that, but I'm pretty, every time I came here, by the way, I don't know if you realize it, my son actually is in the class right here. I make him do this class basically. He's in 5th grade, and he just is just listening to these things. But you can ask him that, I get pretty nervous every Sunday, even though I've done this for 13 years. Because especially this time, it was so nerve-wracking. I come here, I do not know if my instructors will know what happens if they will test positive or negative. So yeah, we went through a lot this time, just like you guys did. So I'm happy we all pulled it together. I really do. Anything else?
For going back to the ratings, I mean, I've been taking your class since I was a freshman, or no, I was taking it since 8th grade. So I honestly would give the class a 10 because, I mean, like every time we go into class, you guys encourage us to ask questions. You go through every single thing. It's just the encouragement of you guys like making us ask questions is probably like one of the best like features that you guys do, because it kind of just motivates everyone else just to like, oh hey, I should just ask a question because it's not like I have to worry about anything.
Absolutely, Preet. Again, I put myself in your shoes. If I'm a student and if I have a question and if it doesn't get answered, I will be so frustrated. And that's the thing I believe in. I keep it simple. All our tutors, all our instructors have the same training that if you have a question and if that doesn't get answered, you'll be thinking about that question than the stuff we are teaching. So there is really no learning happening between that till that question is answered. So I would rather answer it right away. And funny, I don't know what happened this time, but were able to complete the curriculum a lot sooner than we anticipated. We usually cover this curriculum in 14 weeks. 15th week, this is today, we just have a discussion like this. But this time, we completed the curriculum in 12 weeks. And 13th and 14th week, we had more practice. That's what we did. So I don't know what exactly happened, which I'm going to scrutinize and analyze. One thing I want to ask you guys this. This is very important for me. Did you ever guys get bored during the class? Don't hesitate. It may happen for a few minutes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about consistently getting bored in the class.
I feel like that's just, that depends on your motivation, like your own motivation, if how good of a score you want to get. Like if some people just get bored, that's kind of on them, because they also need to because if they really did want to do good on the ACT, they would make sure they're not bored. They'd listen. I mean, yeah, sometimes it gets you're just overwhelmed, but I mean, you gotta prioritize the class and all the ACT stuff and all that.
Well, okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, it also depends on you guys too and how motivated you are. Yeah. But I hope the classes are not boring. That's when I walk into this classroom, that's what I will be thinking. How do I keep you guys engaged? And all the tutors tell them this: keep the students engaged, make them ask questions. Discussion breeds learning. You got to discuss things, which is happening. And how many are taking the December 12th test?
I am.
I am. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Good. And remember, our response time is 24 hours, so maximum. So if you have a question, text me directly and say, hey, Manoj, I have a question. We'll get back to you. I'm really want to invest, and again, it's not this is something we are doing yesterday. We've been doing for 13 years. There's an investment personally from my side and from the tutor's side. So we are not going to just give away just because we are done with the class. Not going to happen. I'm there for you guys. I want you to remember that. Even when you go to college, some of my college students still contact me. Actually, funniest thing is I'm actually meeting one of my students who's applying for who's taking his medical MCAT for med school next in 2 months, and I'm meeting with him in 2 days for MCAT prep. And he was my student, 4 years back? So there's a reason why my students come back. Because we take care of you guys. That's the most important thing. Again, if you have any questions from now onwards, I'm a text message away or a call away. Take care. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Stay safe. And God bless and good luck on December 12th. Bye-bye.
Thank you for all your help, Manoj.
Thank you, Porter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.